Hello and welcome, beautiful family of light. We're here again with the Soul to Soul Conversations. I'm Caroline Crawford.
And I'm Paul Crawford.
And it's so good to be here with you. We've missed you, although we've had some wonderful guests on and we will be having more. It has felt like, we haven't got really time to converse with you. So it's really good to be back again, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we just really wanted to say before we start that just a really massive, massive thank you for tuning in, to taking the time to watch these podcasts, to like and comment. It just really means the world to us. So keep it up.
Yes, and I'd like to say a great big thank you from me. And so glad that you're joining us on our journey, this journey together into that more expansive existence that we're all looking towards and achieving. And we can do it together because we create a greater community and a greater strength with each other.
So, Paul, do you want to share what we're going to be discussing and talking about?
Yes, today we're going to be talking about our belief systems and belief systems that might be holding us back, and those belief systems that may be creating limitation. And this is a really good subject that when we were talking about what should we discuss on this show. And we said at the moment there's so much media content out there that is creating a lot of negativity within people. And we just wanted to remind everybody that it's always a decision as to what we are choosing to believe, and to be aware of any anxiety and fear that we're maybe moving into that's being created from those external influences. Because when we move into that more limiting energy, that we're actually starting to create an imbalance within ourselves. And that imbalance can then lead into ill health. It can lead to lack of energy and so many other aspects as well. And it's such an important part of our lives and something that we can control. And that's one of the key things. We can control what we believe.
Yeah, I think it's becoming more aware of our thoughts, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I won't say too much about that at this point. But I know Paul was talking about external influences.
Yeah, and it's really just starting to be more mindful of how they're impacting upon you and what that impact is. And that can be used as your driver to making assessment for them. But really, that kind of leads into Caroline telling us a little bit about how do we realise if something is a limiting belief?
Well, I think there's various ways. I mean, I've always been one for really reflecting on my thoughts and thinking about, what thoughts I'm having, as particularly, I think if we're feeling low, if we're feeling anxious, if we're feeling a bit down, if we're feeling, frustrated or angry, because our thoughts really do affect our emotions, and then our emotions, affecting the way we feel, and then how we take action in the world, how we be inspired into the world. So it's really being aware of your thoughts. And also, we know today we're really focusing on how limiting beliefs and thoughts can affect all this, what's going on the outside world and the external influences, particularly like the mainstream media. But, obviously there's some or many limiting beliefs stem from way back in our formative years, even before we were, 6, 7, 8 years old, from things that happened then. But by being aware of, is anything restricting us? Are we not wanting to do something for no good reason? Then there's often a limiting belief behind that, a decision we've made, or a thought, because I say beliefs are thoughts we continue to think. So being aware of our thoughts and then identifying any assumptions or thoughts that we have that may be or are affecting our emotions and how we feel. So, and then looking to finding a more open-minded, a a more balanced perspective on that, on changing that, because often the best way to change a limiting belief, once we've identified it, and we'll give you some analogies in a moment, is by using the opposite, saying the opposite, affirming the opposite, and making that decision to really think and let that become part of our thinking, of our new mindset of rewiring or reprogramming our thoughts and our brain.
Yeah, and I think that reprogramming is such an important part of it, because so many of our thoughts, they've just become ingrained in us, that's our absolute default, and we don't think about it. And that's why being more conscious with what we're thinking and monitoring our response to situations, how we feel about things that are happening, how we feel about ourselves, and allowing that to be our barometer as to, are we holding a negative or limiting belief about something about ourselves or something external to us. And I think and I know moving into, as we move into understanding, noticing, realizing a particular belief system, that sometimes we can either allow ourselves to remain stuck there because it causes stagnation, but we also might do the opposite. We might start to fight against it. And really that's creating the wrong energy, because if we're fighting against something, then we're just creating a greater inattention, which actually holds us more into that negative place. So first of all, we have to just be at ease with it.
Yeah.
And we have to come at it from a completely different way. And as Caroline was saying, it's about just deciding to consciously make a new decision, a different decision, a decision that's going to be more empowering for us, rather than holding us into that limitation.
I think, like you say, Paul, not fighting against it, not fighting against anything. It isn't a good thing, because as he said, even when I just said that word, when I just said that phrase, fighting against it, gosh, I felt all this tension in my tummy. And of course, like anything energetically, if we're creating tension, we're blocking the flow. And when we're blocking the flow of energy and it's creating constriction, which the greatest thing that causes constriction is fear, then that leads to almost like a cutting off, and it can lead to dis-ease in the body. It can lead to a whole range of symptoms. We get tension headaches, we get tension tummies, there's just, and over a prolonged period, that is not a good thing. It's not a good thing to have this tension and this fear building up in our bodies, that once we become aware of that and we become aware of techniques to release these things, and as Paul said, allow things to be, or yourself and your thoughts to be at a greater ease, because those greater thoughts come from our higher consciousness when we're more aligned to our sacred heart, to our soul. And those thoughts and that consciousness will always help us feel more relaxed and feel more peaceful.
Yeah, I remember when I was diagnosed with Crohn's, and they said to me at that time, and I was only 15 at that time, they said to me, you've got it for life, it's incurable. They didn't know what caused it. They weren't really sure how to assist it. They had some ideas. And at first I bought into that, because I was thinking, these are the doctors, they know best. But in reality, all they knew, or where they were coming from, was their limiting belief system. So I was then taking on board somebody else's limiting belief system. And I was accepting that as my belief. And I had to, over the years, I had to learn to reprogram myself to get rid of that. And that allowed me to step into a whole new aspect of myself, to be in better health and to be more vibrant health. And it just goes to show you that, and it really highlighted to me, that all I was doing was putting more importance on somebody else's opinion rather than what I felt to be true. And I think you can take that into very much a personal belief systems as well, about how we feel about ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, and that was back in the 80s. I mean, and since then we've both, been on this journey of self-empowerment and, raising our consciousness and raising our awareness. And thank goodness we have, because, there's a lot of things in both our early lives that we've overcome through the power of positive thinking and self-reflection. So I was going to give you an analogy of, maybe you feel with some or something we hear commonly with self-limiting beliefs. Oh, nothing goes right for me, never works out. So that would be the identification of a negative limiting belief. Nothing works out, or it's not it's not even worth trying. So to counteract that, to go to a positive belief, would be using the opposite. So the opposite would be, and I've used this a lot, and even on odd occasions recently, and it just so turns things around, where everything is always working out for me. And sometimes I might add, and so it is, but everything is always working out for me. So if you're one of those that thinks things don't work out, I can't get a job, this is never going to change, just try using that for several, repeating it several times and making that decision to really feel it within you and believe it, that everything is always working out for me.
It's funny you mentioned that, because earlier today I actually used that with somebody, and I said to them, everything has a way of working out for the best, and it completely changed their energy. And it's such an empowering way of looking at life and looking at what is possible. And I think it really starts to create a greater clarity. Once we move out of the fog of that negativity, the fog of the fear and anxiety, we start to move into this greater clarity, and it awakens our creativity in so much greater ways, and it opens us up to just what we can do, the potential that we have. We're infinite beings, and we can achieve infinite things. So let's open ourselves up and embrace that energy.
I think that's really important, because our beliefs really shape our perception of the world. They influence our emotional state, our well-being, and then that has an effect. Obviously that will spill out into our relationships, into our life purpose, into our happiness. And when we've got good, positive, empowering, nourishing self-beliefs, we're happy, we're vibrant, and life seems to just flow with, like we said, that much greater ease. So I think it's important to always be open to new perspectives and always seeing things from different points of view. I've always done that, because I find that really helps me, thinking there's not just one way. And engaging in conversations with people that hold different viewpoints, because that can make you sometimes just shift a little bit in your consciousness and think, oh yeah, I never thought of it like that. And it can be quite inspirational, and also seeking experiences and knowledge that can really challenge our existing beliefs is another really good thing to just try and practice and cultivate within us. So we can, because we know we're on it, we're all individual souls on a journey, and it's this continual expansion that we're here to expand, to grow, to learn without judgment, and just taking that time to, I like to say, weed out any negative thoughts, any negative belief systems, any limiting belief systems, so we can live more fully and live more in joy and positivity. And lastly, before I let Paul finish, not giving our power away. Because if we're listening to what people are saying, particularly the TV and the media, mainstream media, you know, we're giving our power away. We, like Paul did with the doctor, he gave, albeit unconsciously, but he gave his power to that doctor, said, you know better than me. Who knows better for you? You. In your heart, and the wisdom and guidance of your soul is your, and I've said this for a long time now, is your highest guide. So block out a lot of that negativity and the fear mongering that's going on. Tap into your heart, keep that heart-centered living, because that is where you will keep radiating joy and find so many more joyous experiences and fulfilling experiences coming your way.
And I think, and just accepting that just because you thought something once doesn't mean you have to keep thinking it. So when you live more presently, then you can more easily let go of the past, because you're making your decisions from this moment on. And when you do that, you're starting to live life with a greater freedom. And that greater freedom opens us up to the fullest potentials that are there and what are possible for our future to unfold into. And I think that creates such a different energy for us. It creates an uplifting energy, an energy of openness that Caroline was talking about. And also it encourages us more then to have faith in ourselves, to have faith in who we are, and realize that if we can get into that aligned state of being, that aligned state of existing, that we can achieve anything. Anything that we set our minds to, anything that we now choose to believe and move into, and doing so with a greater freedom, with, as Caroline said, that non-judgment of what was, and also non-judgment of what will be. It's being open.
Yeah. So we're going to invite Jarama through in a moment. So just be aware, just take that time to think, why am I feeling like this? What's stopping me doing that? Why am I resistant to that? And be very gentle with yourself. As we say, don't judge your thoughts. Just observe them from a neutral place and think, yeah, I think I could change that. And remember, change it to the opposite. And then you'll find that you'll start to live a much more empowered life. And, you know, these podcasts are all about empowering you. That's why we're here, to inspire you, to educate, to share with you. And we also, Paul and I, you know, for many decades now, we're both healers, and we also teach Reiki. We're Reiki masters. So, and these classes, these courses are so self-empowering. We've been running some recently, and people have said they've really made a difference in their lives. They've changed their lives. They've helped them release things that they'd held for many, many years, and gave them so much upliftment, and then the gift of helping others to heal. So if you're interested in Reiki courses or self-empowerment, go to our website where you will find details there. And we really thoroughly enjoy teaching those together. So I can feel Jarama and hear him coming through, or them I should say, Paul's team of consciousness. So I'll allow them to come through. Welcome.
Hello, my friend.
Hello.
We also thank you for this opportunity to converse with you. And these conversations that we enjoy having are very much a part of bringing a different perspective. Because we are of the non-physical, it means that we are not affiliated to anything that is currently causing that stagnation whilst you journey through this physical world, this physical environment. But it doesn't have to be that way. As has already been spoken about, a new way of thinking is just a decision away, the decision to think differently. And as you think differently, you will behave differently. And as you behave differently, you're creating a completely new energy to you, an energy that will be more encouraging, an energy that will be more empowering, an energy that will be more uplifting. And it will move you into experiences that will be reflective of that energy, rather than an experience that is reflecting that energy of anxiety or fear. So allow yourself to be free. Find some stillness where you can realign to your higher self, that higher self that is always there to provide you with inner guidance, that guidance for the very best to take place for you. And as you find that greater strength in those moments of stillness, you will find that things begin to change for you. Life takes on a whole new energy to it, an energy that is moving you more into that aspect that you have come here to do, and that is to expand your consciousness. Even though there, by its very nature of this physicality, that there are natural limitations there, it is allowing yourself to go beyond them and opening up a whole new world of existence. Because as you do so, you begin to tap in to those more expansive understandings and knowings of what is possible. And you will find that there are those that have been amongst you and are still amongst you who you think of as being geniuses. Well, often you think of them as being geniuses because they are allowing themselves to go beyond current thought, current thinking, into that energy of potentiality. And everyone has that ability to become that same genius. So why would you choose to do anything else? As we've already said, it's up to you. It is your choice. These are your decisions to make. So allow yourself the freedom to do so. And as you embody the new you, you begin to realize that you too have a voice. You too have an amazing way of thinking, an amazing way of creating in your own unique way. And sometimes that may be very similar to what others are saying and doing. But no one does it quite like you do. So allow yourself to shine. Allow yourself to become the fullness that you can be. In other words, love yourself. If you are filled with love, then there is no room for anything else. And as that loving energy expands more and more within you, it creates a stronger clarity. And that stronger clarity will be the difference to the way things are and that amazing infinite future that awaits you. Now, how is that for a thought? How is that for a positive way of thinking? An infinite, amazing future. It's there. It's existing within and around you. You just have to allow yourself to open up to it. And you do so by making those more empowering decisions to let go of what once was and step in to what you want to be and create now. The present moment, the now moment, is such a powerful place to be, because it means that you are truly living life to the fullest when you allow yourself to be more present within the energy of freedom. And with that, my friends, we will say goodbye for now. But remember, whatever takes place, in realizing that there are decisions for you to renew and to change into what those old beliefs were, to let those go and move into the new belief system by making those more empowering decisions. Do so with a great kindness. Do so with a love, without any self-judgment. Because often you will find that no matter how harsh other people external to you can be, you can be your harshest enemy. You can be your harshest judge. So let go of that and embody the energy of love, of freedom, of self-empowerment, of your true spirituality, because that is who you are, and so much more. You are infinite beings. You have an inner divine guidance that is always there. You just have to allow yourself to open to it, and it will be so. Goodbye, my friends.
Thank you so much. I don't think anyone has really helped my limiting beliefs release and expand more than Paul and Jarama, really. So yeah, thank you, Jarama. And if you're interested in doing any of our other courses on self-empowerment, where Jarama often comes and talks to us, just reach out and let us know, because we can do things online as well. We don't have to live locally. So yeah, remember then that your beliefs can expand your consciousness or limit your consciousness. We always have a choice, and by working on that self-awareness and building our positivity and helping our curiosity and our openness and this growth mindset can really lead to a much greater, happier, more positive understanding and awareness with living from our full potential, as Jarama said, from that potential of our non-physical that is part of us, that we can, I invite it in every morning, visualizing that like us, that I feel the presence and the love and the wisdom and guidance of my higher self. So is there anything else you wanted to say before we close?
No, I think, and just be relaxed with it. Don't and you don't have to change everything all at once. Okay, just one thing at a time. What's affecting you most? What energy do you feel that you would like to work with, that you make new decisions with, and just have fun with it, because when you have fun with it, it makes it easier to do as well.
It does.
And you're less likely to fall into that trap of self-judgment.
We have our play dates, don't we?
We do.
We've got one this weekend. We're going kayaking, but the dolphins and the manatees, and I can't wait. Yeah. So if you have a favourite mantra, a favourite affirmation that has really helped you overcome any limiting beliefs, if you're watching and listening on YouTube, please leave your comments down in the comments below and get that conversation going. We'd really appreciate that. Or if there's any limiting beliefs you want to change and you need a hand with, because we always read the comments. So do that in the comments below. Thank you again so much for joining us. I've really enjoyed. I can even though we're recording this, we can feel that presence, we feel that love, and we hope and know that we're sending you all our love from our hearts to yours. And you can check out the website, as I said, and know that we will be back next month.
We will. And just remember, you can do it. Or as they say, you've got this.
Yeah, you've got this. You've got this. From our hearts to yours. Namaste.